Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Donna Richardson, and my guest this hour is James King, Maryland House of Delegates, representing District 33A.
Thanks for having me.
Delegate King, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
See ya.
Session has ended, but there were some key issues that were passed over the last session, and jobs and the economy were definitely a part of that focus.
No question, it was at the forefront, and I think at this point we're all focused on how do we get this economy back on track, how do we get people back to work, and how do we get small businesses to start thriving again. The state of Maryland, 74% of all residents are employed by small business, so we have a huge number. We don't have big corporations like a lot of the other states do, and our small businesses have been suffering, and they've been forced to lay people off. So the focus of the General Assembly has been how do we get those small businesses to thrive again and start bringing people back onto the workforce, kind of stop the trend of the layoffs, and get them hiring again. So we did some things. We did some tax credits for hiring individuals who are currently on unemployment. There's a $5,000 tax credit if you bring them back into your small business and start hiring again. So we hope that that will promote some job creation and get people back to work. But it's difficult. You know, we're in a little bit of a better area here because we have the federal government. We're next to Washington, D.C. We have a lot of military jobs, so that helps out. But we're still at 7.5% unemployment, and we got to work harder to fix that problem.
Now, in addition to that, energy and rates are something that we're all affected with, be it business owners, residential, and that was on the table to try to look at whether we should re-regulate. Yeah,
this has been a very contentious issue for about 15 years, actually, in the General Assembly. Years ago, Maryland took the step of deregulating energy. I believe it was the right step at the time. It was very controversial then. But what we're trying to do is bring competition into Maryland. There's kind of a monopoly here, and we need to get other companies coming in and bidding on both commercial and residential electricity. The proposal was put forth by the governor to re-regulate energy. It was pretty overwhelmingly shut down by the legislature, and the reason is I think we need to give it some more time to let deregulation work. We're starting to see companies come in and wanting to build more power sources in the state of Maryland, and that's really what it's about, is to generate the electricity in the state of Maryland and then to go out and be able to bid it to residential and commercial customers. For the first time now, in about 10 years, we've seen 5 contracts come into Maryland in the last 18 months that have shown interest in doing that. So I think the legislature has felt, let's give this some time, let's see what the new companies coming in are prepared to do, prepared to offer, and what kind of investments they make in Maryland, and that's jobs as well. When they build these generation plants, it's thousands of jobs. So we're hopeful to see this trend changing, and hopefully once that happens, we get in a very competitive market, and we see people bid those numbers down, and all of us save on our electric bills.
That's true, because I think right now, even the residents are looking and sitting back and going, what's going to happen? No question.
And look, everybody's trying to make ends meet right now, and our electric bills are probably one of our biggest expenses. If you take away your mortgage, you know, the next bill that you get hit with is your electric bill. And certainly in the temperatures we've been feeling here in Maryland, people are turning those air conditioners up, and they're paying for it at the end of the month. We've got to get those rates down.
Most definitely. Now, we also were very successful in having Jessica's Law implemented and passed. And tell us about the benefits.
Well, we came back. We passed Jessica's Law 2 years ago, and we came back with what's called Jessica's Enhancement Law, which increased the penalties to a mandatory 15 years for individuals who are convicted of these types of child predator crimes. To me, it's a no-brainer. We should have done it when we passed the original bill, but there were some contentious arguments there. We didn't get it done, but we were able to come back this year, have a good argument, and get it done this year. And you know, we've got to make the streets safe for our kids, and we've got to punish those individuals, and we've got to set a tone here in the state of Maryland that we're going to be hard on crime. We're going to be hard on these individuals. And so I'm very proud to have worked on that bill and co-sponsored that bill and to get it passed. It was a great compromise, and at the end of the day, we have a much tougher law in the books here in Maryland.
And hopefully it will be a huge deterrent.
Absolutely.
Delegate King, thank you so much
Thanks
for
having
joining
me.
My guest this hour has been James King, Maryland House of Delegates, representing District 33A. And if you're interested in what Comcast is doing in your community, go to On Demand and click Get Local. For Comcast Newsmakers, I'm Donna Richardson.